Hello, welcome to a new video. Today I'm actually going to be making a color work project. I will be making this one. This pattern is made by Junko Okamoto Designs and it's called Rug. I have seen people make this project using this yarn, Istex Platylopi. This is an Icelandic unspun yarn. It's a very jade greeny, very royal green type of color, and I really love this color. And I did actually order a few colors to see which one would look nicest with this yarn. But yeah, this is the first time I'm looking at these colors, so we're gonna see what they actually look like in person. The green one, the main one that I had already at home, was color 0484. Oh, this is really pretty. That would be so beautiful together with this. Oh, I really like the look of these two together already. Nice. So this one is 2020. It's so hard to see the difference on the colors. Can you see a difference? Oh yeah, holding them side by side you can definitely see the difference on these. By the way, this pattern is free, so if you want to make this also, you can. I really love these two. So pretty. Should I use this as the main color? Or should I use this as the main color? We will see. I'm gonna start with making swatches, so continue watching. This is what I normally tend to do. I don't make a full swatch, I just knit a few rows and just see what the result looks like. Currently it's looking like this. And I'm not loving that result, so I'm ripping it up. But I think this is going to be too little contrast. Okay, so it's the next day. Yesterday I did some swatching on the yarns. I think I made a longer swatch this time with different combinations of each yarn color, and I did that when there was really poor lighting. So today I'm actually gonna take a look at the swatch and see what it looks like in better daylight. I think the cat might have been attacking this yesterday because it did not look like this when I left it. So this is the swatch I made yesterday. I'm not sure if I love it. It's so hard to visualize what it's gonna be like. You know what? I'm just gonna rip this up. The issue I'm having is that I have 3 colors and I have 3 skeins of each color. I don't necessarily want to buy more yarn, and I thought I was gonna love the combination of either having this one combined with this together and then have this one as the contrast color. I did want to have just a slight contrast with the colors, not too much and not too little, but having these two combined as the main color isn't enough contrast for this color, since these are so similar. I combined these two together with this as the contrast color, but I don't know if I love that. This is I don't know, this is more of a main color for me rather than a contrast color. So I have a lot of yarn still. That hasn't changed. So the idea is to make a jumper made of chunky yarn. I do need to hold this double with something, so let's see what I have. Here is my Sandnes box. A lot of these ones in here are booked for other projects. One yarn that I'm thinking Sunday, it's an alpaca följetråd. So I want to see how thin it is. Could I just... No, that's gonna be a 2 different color again. Yeah, can't even remember what I have in here. And then all my Sunday ones in here that are mixed in, they are booked for half and half triangle, and these are also booked. So I think I need another DK to make the bulky one. The only thing, or the only one I can think about, is my Swedish wool by Järbo. It's very much more green. Is that gonna be a weird combination? So the other way is that I just combine this yarn with itself and buy, I think I might have to buy one more skein if I do that. I also have this Swedish wool color. So they're so pretty, all of it. I want to use all of it. At the same time I'm like, am I wasting my yarn for this project? Because I'm not feeling 100% that I love it just yet, because I can't visualize. You know what? I think I'll just use two strands of that yarn and just get started with the neckline. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm getting overwhelmed. Seems about right. I can tell that the color treatment on this one is taking out some of the quality of the yarn, I guess. I don't get the same natural feeling of it. So it looks that I sometimes will break the yarn because it is very thin. When I get to back in the round, it will break when I pull the stitch. So yeah, that's something to be cautious of. Something happened. Just to give some background info, I have never done stranded color work, and I know there's a lot of people who are like me who have been a bit like scared to try out color work, and maybe it's just not, you know, it's a bit just too many things to look up before you can get started. So I thought that I could try to film this whole process when I attempt on it. Yeah, when I do encounter obstacles with the color work, I would share that with you guys and you would see how I was able to overcome that. When I did encounter obstacles, I got overwhelmed. It has nothing to do with like the pattern itself or the yarn, like there's always gonna be like obstacles, but like for me it was a lot to do with the filming process. When I encounter an obstacle, I'm not extremely verbal with it. I get like in focus mode in my head and I don't really show outwards on what's going on and what my thought process is, or I don't think that would have been as fun for you guys to watch. And if I wanted to like film it in a way where it was interesting for you guys or like gave you value, then that would have been like an extra obstacle to overcome, and on top of me already being overwhelmed by the project itself, that was like just too much for me to get past. Yeah, it was just too much. So the best way for me to get forward from that was to not film everything and just get back to you guys when I had something of value to show, because we all have different reasons to why we haven't knit color work. Like it's more mental than it is like the physical knitting. You saw how I struggle with like deciding what colors to use. I don't know if that was just like a mental block in my head that the colors have to be perfect for me to like enjoy the project. That is true, but at the same time, like this is what the process looks like. You kind of have to sometimes just, you know, try out different things and see what you like, because the technique itself, that's something you get used to it. It's not gonna be like perfect from the start. Getting into the mindset that you're there to learn, you're there to explore, you're there to like create something out of your own inspirations and your own ideas, and that's something worth exploring. Even though like you're gonna encounter obstacles, that's really important to do than letting fear getting in the way. You could create so much beautiful things once you get past that mental block in your head. Yes, so that was just a quick update on my process. Just continue watching. I'm gonna show you guys how I actually do the color work, because I think that's what most of you guys are here for. But yeah, stick around. This is how far I've gotten. I have pretty much finished the whole body. I'm about to start on the sleeves. But I don't know, like, it says to do a few more rows on the body until you get the desired length you want. It feels like it's the correct length, but the edge is kind of rolling up a lot. It's gonna be fine if I do block it, but I don't know if I want to block this that often. It's gonna get like this during wear after blocking also. I wanna see if I'm gonna do some sort of different, like a ribbed hem to it. But yeah, I just cut off the yarn, and then now I'm gonna do the sleeves. So I thought I'm gonna show you how I do my color changes. So first I have the main color here. I put them down so they are on the floor to my left side. And it's so difficult with this yarn because it snaps off so easily. For this type of yarn, this is even more important that you have some sort of organization of where you keep your yarn. And I want to make sure that I don't get like too much of the yarn looking like this, that it's actually the same length when I place it down. And I want to make sure that the skeins lay flat like this rather than that, because then they start to roll away. This is my contrast color. It looks like this. And I want to keep that to my right. And the same thing here. Make sure that the yarns are even length on both of them. Yes, let's just get on with the knitting. The first row now is going to be 1 stitch of the main color and 5 stitches of the contrast color. So I'm gonna go 1 round and do just that. Now I finished the first row, and here's what it looks like. And this is what it looks like on the back. So you can see that there's a few of these floats, and that's okay because in the second round we're actually picking them up. This is how I did it, and this is what I thought was the easiest way to do it. I did try a method where you do pick them up in the first row. It was too much to think about when you also need to remember the pattern repeat. If you are a beginner, I really suggest you do this one because you see the floats as you're knitting and you can decide where you want to pick the floats up. To me that made the most sense. So the next round is the opposite. So it starts with 1 contrast color and then 5 stitches of the main color. But here's the difference now, because we have 5 stitches now to pick up, or to knit. We also have a float in the back that we should pick up. So it makes most sense to pick it up in the middle, so on the 3rd stitch. So what I do is that I knit 2. So as I'm knitting on the front, you can kind of see the float in the back. So either you take whatever finger to just place it over your needle. It does come in like naturally, like sometimes you don't need to pick up the float. You're gonna notice where you need to do that. So you just place it on the needle like so, and then you just knit normally. And it ends up in the back. So let me show you again. I'm just gonna knit up until I get to that section. So here I change the contrast color. So knit 2, and then I find with the whatever hand I have available, I find it from the back side, and then I just place it over the needle like so. I hope you can see. And then I just knit it. And it's as simple as that. And you can see my yarn broke here already. So what I do when I see that it breaks like this, I just place them a little bit like on top of each other, and then I just go and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna get knit up anyway. Like you can't really tell where that yarn broke. So 1 stitch here, and then again 1, 2, third one I pick up the stitch, and then I change this color to that one, and then I change again. Oi, wrong one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what it looks like on the second row. Now we have floats from the second row, but the first row are all knitted up. And eventually it's going to look like this. Like in some places I decided to pick up stitches, in some I didn't, so I mean, it's not like the end of the world if you forget to pick up a stitch. And if you, during wear, notice that there's like a sloppy thread somewhere, like what's stopping you from adjusting that afterwards? It doesn't have to be perfect for the first time. What really helps me with keeping my yarns from not getting tangled is that having them separated, that you have one color at the bottom and one at the top the whole time, makes it so much easier. But don't worry about those things. Like for me it was a lot about not necessarily understanding all the different techniques. It was more about getting like the connection to my brain about how it feels with the different techniques. So just like my concerns were that is the tension gonna be okay? And I don't think it is in all areas. Like you can see lumps here and there. I think the tension has been somewhat off in certain places, but I'm not too worried about that. I think you need to like get the feeling of like when is it too loose. If it's too loose, then you can pick up more floats along the way. If we just talk about the color changes, like I've heard so many theories that you need to keep your contrast color in your right hand because then you get like a better definition. And I've done the exact opposite here. And maybe for a trained eye this is a horrible job, but in the end of the day, I'm gonna be wearing this, I'm gonna be proud of learning this technique, I'm gonna be proud that I did it even though it scared me, and that's what matters. And like, yeah, that's just the first step into color work. And if you're feeling intimidated about the color work, like that you don't want to mess up because of you want to create these perfect garments, I mean, could you tell that this is somebody who did this for the first time? I just want to inspire people to be like more be more kind to themselves, that like things don't have to be perfect. And like I really love the result of this. Like this is exactly like going against every color work tip in the world. Like the contrast color isn't that bright, I'm using the thread all wrong. I'm still getting a result, and I really love it. I think it's gorgeous. Try it out if you haven't, and if you want to do color work. So what do you have to lose about trying out a new thing? Nothing, except time.